Hello, RE out there. I'm Mark with HFD Storyteller, and I've got the Hatchetman. This is coming to us from our own Adventurous Pirate. A short excerpt of original content by me as part of my expanding novel series lore, posted here as well as my World Anvil account. In the world of Talima, in the city of New Arat, life is full of opportunity where one can find it. While the nobles, merchants, and bards of the upper quarter all live resplendent, decadent lives, free and away from the stresses and dangers of their lesser citizens, those who live in the lower quarter must fight to survive. Thieves, assassins, bully boys, racketeers, protagonists, agitators, evangelists, and all manner and sorts of such folk make up a large part of the daily struggle. Living a simple or honest life is not easy when all around oneself are the ongoing, secretive gang wars, or the intimidation tactics used by the People's Army, a collection of familial-based thugs who enforce the peace, where even the guards dare not set foot. The People's Army was originally formed in the fall and/or disappearance of the dark tyrant Malig. With so many armies of soldiers away, kingdoms such as the newly found New Arot were rife with criminals and rampant chaos. Comprised of several families of various races, mostly human, the People's Army took charge of their city's lower sections, quickly dominating the mercantile, docks, and entertainment districts. From there, they expanded to a near city-wide organization, ready and willing to use any tactics to protect themselves, their families, and most importantly, their interests. Everyone paid tribute or protection to the People's Army. Any that didn't would suffer frequently, and quite finely, accidents. For those who proved especially troublesome to them, they would send the Hatchetman. Dark rumors and whispers surrounded the figure known by his terrifying moniker, so named for the bloody-bladed axe carried with him at all times when sent out on his collection missions. Those he visited quickly coughed up whatever they owed, and the Hatchetman would then vanish as mysteriously as he arrived. All feared him, but few knew who he actually was. Was he a demon, a ghost, a vengeful, vindictive spirit? In reality, the Hatchetman was just another human, one who went by the name of Denix Morgrave, formerly a lawman by trade, until he was fired for exposing corruption. Denix fell on hard times. When his wife passed away from sickness, it left only him and his young daughter to struggle for food and coin. Trained for years as a thief catcher, he decided to lend his skills in subterfuge, tracking, and intimidation to get work. Rumors of his brutality became widespread, but more often than not, they were simply that, rumors. Denix did not attempt to dissuade those who spread such misinformation about him. It simply made his life and collections easier if everyone was utterly terrified of what the Hatchetman might do to them. It was not a good life, but it was a life, and Denix tried to make the best of it. Eventually, however, there came a time, as it does in any father's life, to see his little girl go off and make something of herself as well. Having his daughter been courted and proposed to by a young man from the People's Army, Denix was wary and apprehensive due to the constant gang wars still circulating. Even so, he gave his blessing, and all was set for the wedding day. Then, disaster. On the day of his daughter's union, the Hatchetman was given a job, one that he could not refuse. He was tasked with going to one of the high temples of the upper city and stealing a priceless jewel for the crime boss he was indebted to, and coincidentally was the father of his daughter's husband-to-be. It was not a job that Denix usually took, but knowing the price for refusing, he had no choice but to comply, worried for his daughter's safety. But what happened after the theft only sealed the Morgrave family fate. The said jewel, once burgled, was given as a dowry present to Morgrave's daughter, the fiancé's idea, presented to her mid-ceremony. As everyone was still enthralled, Denix heard the tromp of armored feet. Then the door to the hall burst open, and soldiers stormed inside. Their business was not an arrest, however, but a slaughter. Everywhere the guests of the wedding, all members of the People's Army's families, were cut down ruthlessly. Denix fought savagely, but was unable to reach his daughter and watched her robbed of her life on the wedding altar. Something inside Dennick's Moorgrave broke that day. The Hatchetman was truly born. All the legends, all the stories, all the sins he was rumored to have committed were brought to reality. Like a specter, he stalked the city from top to bottom, seeking out any and all who were responsible for the heinous attacks. Those he found he interrogated brutally, torturing freely and easily when words were not enough, and never alive was a soul left if they had any connection to that dreadful day. The People's Army similarly paid many dues to the Hatchetman, for he blamed them as well for his daughter's death, in an attempt to hide from his own guilt and grief. But as ever, all tales must come to an end, and soon too did the Hatchetman. His last murderous attack was to be his last, an assault on the very temple from whom he had stolen. Many were found among the dead that day, all the remaining conspirators, including the body of a young temple maiden who had been caught seemingly in the crossfire. But as for Dennick's Moorgrave, the Hatchetman, there was no sign, no body, nothing. Bounties for his arrest were put out everywhere, notices bearing his likeness and fearsome acts placed on all roads leading to and from New Arut, calling for his capture and execution. The reward goes unclaimed to this very day. Most mysteriously of all, there have been rumors of his acts resurfacing in the world, in the possession of a bizarre, overly large goblin who goes by the simple moniker of Mitch. To those who dare to ask how the ugly, one-eyed, bow-backed, unnaturally muscular goblin came to carry the fearsome, deadly blade, he has ever but one reply. Found it. Hate to see a good tool go to waste. Figured I might do some good with it. Thank you for listening.